This is insane. NHL insider Frank Seravalli has dropped a bombshell Flames trade report revolving around the NHL Draft, and it has many fans scratching their heads. Already we're seeing contradicting reports, and there's a lot of he say, she say, so it's safe to say things are insane right now. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And yes, take it with a grain of salt, but we have a Seravalli report, and it's an interesting one. It has a lot of people talking, and already, I mean, it's common for a Frank Seravalli report to, kind of have zero substance behind it, but we're already seeing not only people disagreeing, but having completely contradicting takes. So let's get into what this big quote is, what the big report is from Frank himself. So he said that the Flames are dangling both of their first round picks to acquire high-end talent or move up in the draft order, obviously coming from the Daily Faceoff. Now, this is interesting depending on which way you take it. At first glance, you're thinking, what are you talking about? The Flames aren't trading away futures to get current players. That is not the plan. What's going on here? But again, it depends how you want to take it. Seravalli has this way of wording things that it can make sense either way, and then he's safe no matter what. So overall, it is interesting. And I know when most Flames fans read this at first sight, they're thinking, what the heck? Why would we trade away first round picks? To move up in the draft, sure, maybe. That's not a bad idea. But to acquire high-end talent, it would have to be the thing that we're also sick and tired of hearing, but it would have to be a young right shot center for that to be considered high-end talent. Usually when people see high-end talent, they think someone who's already, developed in the league, a bona fide superstar who is going to be good. Kind of like what we thought when we were acquiring high-end talent, Jonathan Huberdeau. So already it's a little bit of an interesting one. But like I said, we already have contradicting reports. So Cam Robinson, who is from Elite Prospects, he said, I'm hearing the opposite of this. Complete 180, the opposite. He said Calgary worked hard to acquire those extra picks and wants to use them to help bolster the pipeline, not flip for now talent. And that makes more sense. It really does. You think of our two first round picks this year. One was in the Markstrom trade and one was in the Tkachuk trade, of course. So traded away good pieces to get those first round picks. Why would we trade them away to try and maybe get some quote unquote high end talent back? It just really doesn't make sense. And I think most people are going to agree with Cam Robinson here. So Seravalli said something, then NHL Rumor Report said something, then Cam Robinson said something, and then we get into an article from TSN. So everyone is just saying something based off of what someone else said. Welcome to Flames Digest. How are ya? That's what we do here. This is like the 5th installment of this little saga here. That's all happened in less than 12 hours, it seems. But here is a little excerpt from this article. So Calgary look to retain first rounders. The Calgary Flames narrowly missed the playoffs in 2024-25, but according to Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects, the team is looking to continue bolstering their prospect pipeline with their first round picks instead of trading them for current help. And that shouldn't even come as, a big report or anything. That should just be standard. I think that just is what everyone knows. It should be common sense. The Flames have the 18th overall pick in the draft acquired from the New Jersey Devils in the Jacob Markstrom trade last year, as well as the Panthers' first round pick that will be the 31st or 32nd selection following the results of the Stanley Cup final, where most of us are hoping it is the 32nd overall to continue. Calgary also had two first-round selections in 2024, taking Saginaw Spirit defenseman Zane Parekh 9th overall and winger Matvei Gradin 28th overall. Parekh, 19 years old, had 33 goals and 107 points in 61 games with the Spirit last year. He made his NHL debut in Calgary's final game of the regular season on April 17th against the Kings, where he scored his first professional goal. Gradin, meanwhile, had 36 goals and 79 points in 56 games with the Q's Shawinigan Cataracts last season, also winning Rookie of the Year. So I think the reason why this is being added in this article is to show the Flames have done good drafting so far under Craig Conroy. We had 2 first rounders last year. They both honestly look like home runs. Parekh is the entire grand slam, really. But the same thing could happen this year. So trading away picks for, I guess, already established players, not in the plans. I don't know what Seravalli is saying here. It's really, I think he's just trying to stir something as it's the summer and things are a little slower, obviously. It could make sense for the Flames to package it to move up in the draft, as he's saying, as half of this, but the other half, honestly, to me, makes no sense, and I think to most it makes no sense. But let's see what certain fans are saying. So the first reaction to this was someone saying, would you like K'Andre Miller? Which we've done a video on him. We've spoken about him a lot, but it's true. We do have reports of, here's one from yesterday. So Elliot Friedman is hearing the reason K'Andre Miller name is out there is because the team does not want to sign him to a long-term extension. Elliot is getting pushback on Lafreniere. If Lafreniere is available, it's not widely known. So those are two names that have been linked to Calgary, and I guess in this way, the Flames could maybe trade away one of those picks to get a guy like K'Andre Miller. We could use the help on the left side of the D. He's a big guy as well, which everyone loves. So there's the potential for that. But, I mean, it certainly sounds like Mika Zaban and that Banana Land. Great username right there. They are thinking, hey, maybe we'll pick up some picks and you guys can have Miller. Adam here, who comments on literally everything on Twitter, he said, if we can move up into the top 8, then it's a good idea, but I'd prefer to trade players to move up. Agreed. We should not be trading picks for players right now. That would be very, very, very stupid, and I think that is a very rational way to look at this. Another person said, good luck, because the Habs are doing the same thing with better picks, including Calgary's. Yeah, thanks a lot, Brad Tree Living. The Habs are in a better position to trade up, which really stings since they do obviously have our pick. More, one person said they should be dangling Conroy out of a window if they trade picks for players. Yes, I don't think Conroy is going to do this. Again, I think it's Frank stirring the pot a little bit here, but it is true. If Conroy does this, maybe his job will be on the line. Don here said the pick from Florida could be 32nd overall pick. Not a problem for me trading that pick to move up. Utah is dangling. That word is just all over the place today. The 4th overall pick. It would be worthwhile to move up into that spot. Yes, if we can somehow trade up for the 4th overall pick, we can get our center for the future. I just think it's going to cost more than an arm and a leg to do so. It's going to cost more than our other first rounders. Another person said, wow, that should go well for all those teams looking to pick up average talent and sacrifice high-end talent. Yeah, that's just probably a frustrated Flames fan, to be honest. Another person said, and let me guess, the Flames dangled, there it is again, their first round picks and just couldn't find the right fit for now and the future. Again, that's that broken record once again, another kind of, I guess, fed up Flames fan here with the constant mediocrity and the constant just similar reports in a way. A couple others, one person said, give them Batherson. I don't think that's what the Flames are looking for. They're looking for significantly younger, looking for a center and something better. That's probably just, a hopeful Sens fan. If the Flames are making any trades with the Sens, it's probably involving Andersson and probably Shane Pinto coming back. Another person said, it's well known that Frank is a guy who likes to make educated guesses sound like people I've been talking to suggest that types of scenarios. Yes, it's the way modern reporting is, especially in sports. So that is kind of what this report is here. It is an insane report if it's true, but I mean, the validity to it is what is in question here. And the last one is someone said, get back to me when this information is from Elliot Friedman, LOL, with the Jim from The Office doubt it little meme. It's inserted there. So it is true until it comes from, honestly, actual Craig Conroy, if not Elliot Friedman, then you can start to take it a little bit more to heart. Now let's get into one other quick thing before we wrap up the video. A quick little discussion on free agency. An article came out today that said, here it is. It's from The Athletic. So it's NHL free agency 2025. One player each team should target this off season, and get ready for some honestly kind of contradictory writing here, contradictory reporting, but it is interesting. So who is the one player the Flames should target this offseason in NHL free agency? Feel free to put your guesses in now. Well, it's Nikolai Ehlers. So a goal-scoring winger with speed and skating in his arsenal. He makes a ton of sense for Calgary if he's willing to remain in Canada. Does he make a ton of sense? The age isn't really what we're going for. The position isn't really what we're going for. So I kind of disagree. They continue by saying Besser could be another option. He's kind of just like Ehlers in that way. The goal is for Calgary to get someone younger and not chase after mid-30s players who keep them away from that goal. Written by Julian MacKenzie, our old writer, obviously, for the Flames from The Athletic. So I don't know. It makes no sense. He goes on to say Ehlers and Besser and then says, go for someone younger. Those guys aren't younger. That's not what the Flames are going for. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with this again. I don't know who would be the Flames' ideal target for this offseason in free agency, but feel free to let me know down below in the comments. And speaking of the comments, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video. It comes from yesterday's video, of course, and the comment here is from Advanced Web Solutions once again. Now, this is super interesting. So they said Kadri and Andersson for Robertson and Bork would be fascinating on paper for both teams. It would vault Dallas into becoming an even bigger Stanley Cup contender and have a chance against Edmonton. For Calgary, you take a short-term step back, but potentially a huge step forward in a couple of years. I'd strongly consider this, honestly. And it is true. This is one that I proposed on the video yesterday. And I got to be honest, I was thinking about this trade in the whole time I was showering yesterday. I know, sorry, probably too much information. We don't have to talk about March shower time, but it is true. I was thinking, which team says no? It honestly really could make sense. It's such a, NHL the video game trade proposal type thing, but it honestly, there could be some substance to this, and it would be a blockbuster that would be remembered for years. I mean, that's what we said about the Huberdeau-Tkachuk trade, which will be remembered for years, so who knows? Something like this could happen, and either way, it will be a very interesting off season. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.